Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Chris Farah, and right now it's Wednesday, November 19th. It's 4 o'clock. It's really 4:04. I'm sorry about that. But I will be talking about 90 Day Fiance. It's the other way. We call it Toe. This is season 7, episode 11, 7-Eleven. Late night run, honey. Get a lotto ticket. Get a disgusting hot dog. It's been rolling for a long time. It's a live recap. Thank you so much. Hi. If you come in the room, please just go ahead and turn on the light. The way you turn on the light is by liking the video, giving a little thumbs up. Just like that's it. Like by pushing the thumbs up or subscribe, it's like boop, kind of giving that. Hi. Hey, nice to see you. I didn't do a good job of telling all the peeps by pre-planning this live really well. And so I'm going to give just a couple of moments to get people to come in the room. But how are you, Flower Lotus? I hope all is good. It's Wednesday, as I said. I'm excited to do 2 midday lives. I'm going to go ahead and do 90 Day Fiance right now. Happy heard. Hey, yay. Hi. And then after that, I'm going to jump right into, go, so many people. Yay, Josso, yay. Hi, guys. After this 90 Day Fiance, the other way live I'm going to jump into a Sister Wife live. Okay, my loves. So Sister Wives and obviously 90 Day Fiance Toe from this week. Obviously, if you are watching Happily Ever After, you can go ahead and listen to the Docu-Sweeties cover of that. There's 2 more episodes of the season, the tell-alls, obviously. And then the new season of 90 Day Fiance starting. And so all of that is, happening. Plus, of course, Secret Lives and Mormon Wives. I don't know if you guys are watching it. I don't know if like the typical 90 Day fans watch it or just like a whole ravenous other subsect of fans. You tell me. But yeah, I've been enjoying it. Like, obviously the first 10 episodes dropped, and I do feel like they could have given us less episodes because it felt overwhelming. Because it feels like we're going to get the tell all already. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Sorry, I'm writing this just so people know that we're live. Anyway, so what is happening with you guys? We're gonna do a little friend recap, and then I'll start, at an appropriate hour. And by appropriate hour, I mean like an even number. It's too. Oh, sorry. Where's that coming from? Great. Okay, my babes. It's almost 3 minutes. You guys aren't watching it. Okay, yay. Yeah. So, well, I have done 5 episodes, and then I have to do the next 5 episodes of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives drop, and then we get more episodes on Thursday. My goodness, which is tomorrow. So believe me, I'm behind. I know it. I don't watch Sister Wives or Mormon. Yeah, I do. But Joslo, what else do you watch besides? I love even numbers too. Haha, I'm a little OCD. Yeah, me too. So obviously already past 3 minutes. I'll have to go on to 4. Joslo, what shows are you watching besides 90 Day Fiance? I don't know if I don't want to watch Love After Lockup anymore. I can't do it. It's a little too much for me. But I do want to watch some other fun shows. I think that and there's some holes in my life. There's some missing pieces. I'm excited to talk about this episode with you guys. Should we start at 4 minutes? By the way, have you even considered decorating for any sort of holiday yet? Have you like put out, any sort of decor? I haven't yet. By the way, I think I'm going to be traveling for some of December. I'm going to start in the next minute mark. I'm going to be traveling for some of December. So I'm going to bring all of my accoutrements and then obviously try and do whatever I can on the road. But having said that, make sure you're following me on socials like Instagram and TikTok. If you're there, I'm at Chris L. Farah. And also Substack, I'm having a lot of fun, like deep diving into looks, and that's Chris Farah at Substack. And of course, if you're on Facebook, you can like my page, Chris Farah, and I have a private secret group, Vanity Farah. I always post before I go live, or at least when I'm live, to tell everyone. We're gonna start in 10 seconds. Hi, Hawaiian dude, you made it just in time. Yay! Good. Okay, great. Yay! Okay, 5 minutes, babes. Let's get into 90 Day Fiance. This is The Other Way. It's Toe. It's season 7, episode 11. And this is a live recap, honey. It was called Kicking the Ant's Nest. And I hate all of the titles of these episodes. Kicking the Ant's Nest. Okay. I mean, it feels like a Scrabble just like grab bag of letters that just happen to like lay in that way. It doesn't make any great sense to me. Okay, but let's start with Petia and Dylan. Oh my God. I cannot even. How awkward. Were you guys just like, what is happening? Poor Petia. Okay, let's get into it. Petia, God bless. Oh, I should say, you know what? I'm gonna start posting here as a comment. Recap starts at 5. Because this will tell me uh this will let me know to do this later because I always forget to write a comment after it's posted telling people when the actual recap starts. Okay, so this is what's happening. Obviously, we know that Petia is living with Dylan and we know some of their issues. And one of their issues is that he has a mom that just comes over whenever and she hates the mom and she doesn't really know. We like when we said like she didn't really say hate before we got really into the hate now, but at the time it was like they don't get along and we didn't know why, other than the fact that Petia was like, well, he's a mama's boy. He calls her a lot. And then later on, he was like, okay, well, it's because she said that she wants her son to marry someone that's younger. And we know that song and dance, it's like the Angela Egg dance. And so we're like, oh my God. But it was never co signed by Dylan. And we obviously had met his mom and his mom never had a confessional where she co-signed any of that, like because the producers could have easily got her to, kind of come to the side and be like, how do you feel about your son dating an older woman that can't ever have children? Have you wanted grandchildren before? Like, like catching her say something, which obviously if she did, she could have been like, well, of course, it's every woman's dream to have grandchildren. So this has been a disappointment, but we'll see. Obviously we would know her true feelings. That never happened though. So it's always been like Petia's word about this. But at the same time, I hate this for her, which is Dillian takes her to an Irish bar, and that's mine. They're like, oh, an Irish bar in, Australia. And we're like, oh, it's so interesting. I do have a weird fascination about going to culture and ethnic specific places in other ethnic specific places than I've been, locations I haven't been. Okay, can I please elaborate? Like when I was like 15, um and I went to like France for the first time and I saw that there was like Chinese restaurants in France. I was like, "Oh, how exciting." And then when I ate the food and I was like, "Oh, it's kind of like Chinese food in America." Like, that it forced me, it made me think about things in like some way and it was really exciting for me. Having said that, I love Irish culture. Like I find it really interesting and I don't know, it's have a sing-songy accent that I just find musical and delightful in some way. And I've recently like did a deep dive and found out there's like a Lebanese population in Ireland, which I find weird. Like I find not weird. I find as just I'm ignorant to think about that. But like as an American Lebanese person, I'm like, there's Irish Lebanese. Like for some reason, the idea of like a bunch of lovely like hummus eating people like also talking like this like is just like, oh my God, I need to see it. I need to see it. Like I would love to sit down and have all of the kefta and the kusa and the tabbouleh with a bunch of people that like are also, just going to make sure that if they're going to be talking up there, they're going to make sure they're going to come down here and then go back up, all of that. So I'm not saying I'm an Irish accent master, but I am saying I want to hear it. And I want to hear Lebanese people do it. All this to say that we are at an Irish bar in Australia and, it's what we assume that's going to happen. It has like that brown wood, it has like a very sort of warmth to it. To me, Irish bars are almost always warmer than other bars, specifically any dive bar that's like akin or next door to it, adjacent. So listen, we hang out with him and his mom and his bro. And his brother We met in the last scene when they were like, it was like him and his brothers before. And this is what's awkward. Well, everything. Petia certainly doesn't feel any sort of need to have a better relationship with her husband's new mom. Like, if you are to believe that you're about to get married to someone who you believe is a mama's boy, then are you saying, and now you're moving to the country that this person lives, are you saying for the rest of your life, every time he talked to this person or every time this person's around you, you're going to like bite your lip and hate your life? That's crazy to me. Like, Petya, that doesn't seem like normal. Now, listen, if she was like, I hate that fucking whatever, I'm like, okay, but it seems like maybe we should try and work some of it out a little bit, like to see if it could get better. And so, but maybe she has a fear of confrontation because she gets ambushed into this situation because she does not want to have an awkward conversation, and yet here we are. So, um, you know what? I'm so sorry, my loves. Let me go back. There's 2 scenes, and I messed up my notes. We're gonna have one scene at the Irish bar, and then we're gonna have another scene, where they're all together. So the Irish bar scene, let me just say this. This is where Dylan has his brother Chris and Glenn, who's his step-bro. Glenn's gonna come back later and then be at dinner with his mom and, Petya. But at this dinner, and the same thing happens, which is why it's confusing to me. The same thing happens, which is that both situations, both settings are set up for Petya to be honest about her feelings and relationship to Dylan's mom, Jo. And every setting, Petya is screaming, like being like, no, don't make me do it. Like, it's like they're making her jump out of a plane. And she's like, absolutely not. Like, she does not want to have the conversation. She doesn't want to acknowledge it. She doesn't want to try and make it better. She doesn't like, she's just like, yeah, it feels like the ground is going to eat me up inside. I'm going to be swallowed by the earth. So it's just interesting. So basically, at the Irish bar, and again, I had messed up. This is mom is not there. It's just Glenn. It's just Chris. It's just Dylan and Petya, who has to be like, yeah, I like Dylan's mom. Uh-huh. Nope, no problem here. Yeah, no, she's great. And Dylan's like, "Yeah, really? That's how you feel about my mom? Tell my brothers how you really feel." Well, boy, what a woman that made such great 2 men and this stepping over you, Glenn, she's stepping you right. Step up. That's what she did to be your mom. Like, like Petya, you can tell that Petya, when she wants to leave her body and just pretend, can. And I'm not saying that that's a skill that she can also use when she's working like exotic dancing, but it certainly probably helps. Like, she can put on this like, yeah, kind of smile. I wish I could say a better word than yeah, but it's like she can kind of just lock her like upper mouth open in a non-threatening way that feels like she's enjoying what's happening. And I'm sure for many people, including many men, they've just been like, wow, what a charming, attentive, really interested woman this is, to me. And inside, she's like, get me out. Get me out of this right now. I hate this, hate every moment of it. Hopefully, we'll be getting paid for it, or this will be over very soon. Either way, just biting my lip, just grinding my teeth, just. And I feel like it makes me upset that Dylan doesn't have an honest conversation about how his woman feels about his mother with him. Like, because this is now the second time that he's forced the situation. The first one being just having his mom come over when, like, Petya is just like a god facial. And so all I'm saying is, like, to me, it just seems like he wants to be like, will you like my mom? Why don't you like my mom? And the reason why is going to come out is because that she was told something, and he could have like ease the burden by just being like, "I fucking lied. I'm so sorry. I was just dumb and lied. I wanna make you feel bad." Or, you know what? Probably, but I just, like, kind of didn't really ask her. I just assumed, and she never said that. And I said that dumbly then, and it's, like, really tainted it now, and so that's an honest on me, but let me not, put you in awkward situations by making you talk about it with my brothers first in front of, in front of them, where she isn't, like, super close with them. She's like, "I met one guy once," you know? So and she likes the brothers, and the brothers are, like, would know that I feel like those brothers know that Dylan also is a piece of goddamn work, you know? Even I do like the fact that 2 brothers are like, "We're specimens." I'll tell you what Joe made, 2 specimens. We're both exotic dancers. We're both the thunder from down under. Oh my god, just like yeah. I also wanna know, like, do you eat kangaroo 5 times a day like that, and all the calorie counting of the kangaroo and stuff like that? Does everyone have to do that? I mean, I guess I think everyone does have to do that. I think that one thing I have to realize is in order to look quote unquote perfect, and quote unquote perfect is like the 10 it's like the 15% on it's like okay, it's like the 20% to whatever, that's more than you would do if you were just taking the best care of yourself. Like, there's the fittest, healthiest you could be. And if I was really talking aesthetics, like, let's just say you're really on top of your shit and you were doing time management, and time management allowed you to like meal prep and also like, 80/20, like have some fun, but also meal prep. And maybe you don't count all your macros, but you're definitely like making sure you're having organic whole foods and you're mindful of protein counts. Let's just say you're doing all that. And then on top of that, you're also like somehow implementing a movement routine that is consistent because you got into weightlifting or you and your friends love Zumba. Let's just say you're doing that 4 to 5 times a week. And let's just say as well, this is you just still you taking care of yourself. This isn't you being perfect in literally to look perfect. And I'm gonna discuss why I mean that. And it's for people that have to like judge their bodies their way, like models, people that are like naked, like Thunder Down Under models, like I said, Victoria's Secret models, those two people. I don't know, or other people that you just judge your body, like maybe like superstars, movie stars, action stars, athletes. Okay, but even athletes are working out so hard. Okay, this is my point. If you're taking care of yourself, like I'm saying, and then I haven't even layered on top of somehow being mindful of your stress levels so that you are having really great sleep. And sorry, those are the bangles just like slowly falling down my hand. And should I take them off for you? Yes. But I also feel like you should know that it's a cultural thing for me. So if you ask me to take off my bangles, it's also asking me to deny I'm Syrian. Do you want to do that in this day and age? And do you? Okay, moving on. So all that to say, you would have to mindfully do all of those things to like the best of your ability. And I have never done three at the same time. Never. My best is doing two sometimes for a certain amount of time and then one drops off. But to do all three is like taking care of yourself to the best of your ability. But then to add the 20% to be like wildly perfect, where you have to like count everything and give up everything and then plan your life around the eating and working out slash body perfection. It's so rigorous of a mental game. And also I feel like it's so hard to divorce yourself from that kind of perfectionist judgmental, because this is what I need to do to be on top of my shit. And then the way that you actually think and treat yourself, like the self of you that's not wrapped up in the identity of maybe the profession requiring you to be to being perfect. So I want to give Dylan some grace. That took a long time to do that. Okay. I'll take it back in the next scene. So, I'm a food aversion person, just so you know. Like, I wish I wasn't, but I don't eat fun things. Like I eat burgers. I eat beef, chicken, turkey, pork sometimes. Period. I don't eat fish at all. There's no Christmas goose at my table. There's no duck. There's no kangaroo. There's no snails. There's no alligator. There's no escargot. I already said that already. There's no frog legs. There's no camel. There's no goat. There's no lamb. And I said no fish, I meant shrimp too, lobster, like, you know what I'm saying? And so it's not good. But all that to say, like, I can't be eating things I don't want to eat. Like I think that this is how I start to realize that maybe there was like some always there present symbols that maybe I have a little neurodivergence because I never ate that kind of shit. Anyway, I just the smells and whatnot, really about fish, but then everything else I told you, I'm just like once a smell smells bad, and obviously smell and taste are like the most intrinsically married senses. Anyway, so I can't eat it. That's my whole point. So basically, at the end of the Irish bar, I don't know why this took me so long to get through the scene. Dylan sings a song. Okay, he sings a song, and at first I was like mad about it. I was like, "Oh my god, not another 90-day song, and am I gonna have to like hear it, memorize it, sing it back to you or whatever?" And this is after Petya like got over the mom conversation by being like, "Let's stop talking about that. Let's talk about other things." Like he taught me fun British or fun Australian slang like bugger and tinnies. They're like, ha ha ha. So anyway, yes, Dylan's singing and playing guitar, and he was like, first line, my heart was jumping around like a kangaroo. And I was like, is that Chat GPT? At this point, that feels like someone, this isn't a real song. And I, you know, I think it's great to play an instrument. So I'm not going to take it away that, when he first started, I was like, oh, what is this going to be? But then what ended up being good about the song was that the lyrics got better and he sang it right to Petya and it certainly made her feel good. And he had like, again, like more meaningful dialogue in it, including obviously she cries. In the very end, he promised to be more gentle with her heart. And that is an interesting, like, observation because he is a little regimented and she's definitely more sensitive, and, like, I can see in which there's been times in which he's been probably too direct or too, like, harsh or too, like, assertive and aggressive and not been super gentle, like, because I mean, same with me, I'm very sensitive, so then they go to Joe's house, like I said, and this now is Glenn, and listen, Petty is dreading it, and this is where she wears red, honey, which is not the color to wear, but, I do love the way she dresses. She looks great, but I'm just saying red because it just feels like broadcasting, a certain, energy, and the energy is not like friendly. I don't know what color friendly is to you. Sometimes I think friendly is blue, but I look not great in blue except for navy. I look great in greens, golds, yellows, oranges. Oranges aren't super friendly. Maybe like yellow. Okay, so basically they s- sort of ambush, like I said, Petya by sitting down at this table twice. One is making her talk about how she truly feels about her mom. This is after Dylan like observes them talking, but like for him not talking about the real shit, which is interesting because he's not engaging them in like being honest or like speaking from the heart. It's like you're not in therapy right now. It's just so interesting, like why you have to assume that this moment now, with you cooking with your brother in the other room, and then these women are just gonna like suddenly open with Petya being like, "Hey, I've always hated you, Joe. Sorry about that. Now I'm here." You know. So basically, as I said, the women are like, "Why has there always been awkwardness? Like, why do we? Why when I talk to my son and I feel like I throw you like a word or a look, it doesn't feel like you want to ever talk to me. And it's weird to me because you've been dating my son for so long. And also, it's weird, like I said, because you assume that the people that are important to like a really important person in your life, it would be important to you to have a good relationship with them. And we were on Petya's side if she was so, like, negative about Petya and her age or whatever because she's so pretty, but after given the option and the, like, whatever to for when Joe was given the option to let her feelings be known about Petya, she certainly didn't say anything, along those lines. So, Dylan And Glenn, Glenn is loving every moment of this. Glenn, honey, has gotten a bunch of work done. I mean, I'm not quite sure why or what what kind of work he's doing, but honey, that's a full fucking facelift and a bunch of goddamn filler. I'm not quite sure. I mean, I listen, when I'm actually, now that I say that, maybe he's a drag queen. That actually would make a lot of sense. And I don't mean like he's gay. And I don't mean just because like he has um plastic surgery. I mean, because all of the other people in the family are performers. I bet Glenn's a drag queen. Like only because sometimes you can, well, I can see how a filled face would, like that would pop with like obviously glam drag makeup, which is basically, what girls are doing. Cisgender women do. Cisgender women are getting those filler faces, and without makeup they look one way just because they know that like add some liner honey, and then it looks like you're an Instagram baddie but all the time. But you can't really move your face. Everything is, by the way, relative. I'm going to go back to this. I feel bad because like right now I'm saying that to you. I have no filler in my face, but I do have like definitely so much Botox I can barely move my forehead. And that's just because it's like 'tis the season. I think it's like the hibernation season. So like for me, I tend to do like a bunch of Botox around this time and just like let myself go through the holidays making all the faces I'd want to make, but like not really, really like making those wrinkles deeper than they are. So God bless. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. I can't move at all. Like, I can't cry. Like by crying right now, I was like, it's so funny. Anyway, and I'm not crying a lot, but like kind of maybe only because like perimenopause. Okay, moving on. Okay, so at this point, we get to the crux, which is that Pettia, Petty was told by Dylan, and at first Dylan tries to deny it, that Joe said he should be with a younger woman, specifically a woman that is fertile and can have and bear children. And that Pettia was so sad and disgusted by this that she was just like, fuck it, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with you. And I just like turned off. And Glenn and Joe do not believe this. Like they are really being like, what? That's crazy. You've been like not into me for so long just because of that. They like find it wild. They don't like her. And so the other thing about this is like, all right, bitch, well, now that she showed showed you hers, why don't you like her? And Joe could be like, I do like her. But it's like, not really. And she'd be like, well, I just like didn't like her because I thought she didn't like me. I just thought so then I mean, I just feel like I need Joe to be like, I think that you're weird and cold. I feel like you maybe don't like Joe feels some way about Petty, that she doesn't trust women, that she like, is weird and cold, that she doesn't really care about her son, that she has a screw loose or something, because why would someone who be with a man who obviously loves his mom not try to care about his mom? Because like also Petty comes from like a family and a culture. Like so sometimes those like, obligatory cultures understand that like family dynamics are important. So like if you are with someone who obviously loves their mom, you should probably figure out a way to love that mom or hate that dude. One of them, you can't hate the mom, love the dude if the dude loves the mom and you hate the mom. You got to like try a different like, slot pull, honey, and just see if you can like rearrange that. It's just like going to be a bad one for you. It's not it. So, now the other horrible thing that happens is that after that conversation, they're also like, "Hey, just so you know, what do you think? The food, it's kangaroo." And she was forced to eat kangaroo, and we were forced to watch her eat kangaroo, and we kind of saw what the meat looked like, and we were like, knew probably what was happening a little too early, and we still didn't want it to happen. And also, yeah, he walks around his like homes with like his dirty boots on, and like the outback with all of the stuff on the ground, just now on your home ground, all over the kitchen. Ew, that really. Yeah, and it's like it when Joe and the brother like Two and two doesn't add up. By the way, I cannot do an Australian accent to save my life. Can you hear? So basically at this point, Petty is like, I'll tell you why I hated you, because your son. It was your son. Your son is the reason why I hated you. And so she has to be like, oh, okay. Is that true? And Dylan's like, no. And then he's like, maybe it is true. He admits later that it's true to camera. And I was like, oh, there you are. And at the same time, that's where I'm like, Dylan, it's now your turn. I feel like we've been doing a lot of she spends a lot of money and she does this and she's too old and she's your mom. And like now we need to be like, what the fuck is up with you? Because you seem OCD. I'll be honest, like the more and more I learn about him, I'm not into him. I'm not into someone who's gonna force you to eat kangaroo. And this, he feels mm-mm. There's something about him I don't like. This was the episode. I'm not saying she's a saint, but at the same time, he keeps like pushing the envelope a little too far of like making her do things or forcing her to do things that I don't feel like he has a right to do. Let's move on to Manon and Anthony. Oh my God, God bless. I feel like Manon, I thought was going to like take like a little like back seat and like take the burner off of her being an absolute incontrollable nightmare bitch, but like my god, she is out of control. She's like a spoiled brat. I mean, there's like this penchant for 90 Day Fiance to like get these type of girls. Remember, like, is it Kimberly that was with that nice Indian guy that would just scream at the top of her lungs like ah! There's definitely a penchant for a 90 Day to get like a really obnoxious female who is dramatic and screams her bloody head off and is borderline like abusive emotionally or like, and is seemingly unaware of how she comes off, except for the fact that she also has, for some reason, like incredible amounts of self security in her decision making. When we watch things she does when we watch things they do and we're like, no. Again, she reminds me of Kimberly from when, yeah, I forgot, it's not Rishi, forgot her lovely Indian gentleman's name. But she had brown hair, she was the witch, she was the clairvoyant, remember that? Oh my god, she just screamed because she like she had to live in that apartment, like that was in his parents' apartment. Oh my God, God bless. So anyway, we're obviously talking about Manon and Anthony. And then she also hates her family. You know, she hates her family. She's talked to her sister. She's like, we need to get out. So basically they're going to go see a home in Provence, which I'm like so happy about. And the home is very nice. Now she's like 4 to 5 bedrooms. And we're like, what? Why? For the three of you makes no sense, you know? And at first I was like, it's because every room is just so small. Is she counting one room as her closet? I mean, you would have to tell me that. Um, she on the ride there has a full conniption fit. She has like a full like meltdown of like a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You know, she is just like so mad that Anthony would ask her to consider or bring up or have a contrarian view to her dream vision of life in France. She wants to have a home in France, own a home in France, and she wants to do it as soon as possible. She wants to get out of her parents' house, blah, blah, blue. He seemingly wants to save money, and I don't know if he wants more help with the baby, or if sometimes I'm like, is it that he wants her family to try and fix things because it's easier to have allies and go up against, you know, a foe than like not. I wonder if he's like, yeah, when she's around my family can't tell her shit because like she'll just be like, it's your family. But is it better when I'm around your family? So if we're both saying the same things, you're forced to listen. TJ, thank you so much. God bless. So basically she's screaming about the fact that she wants to live in a home and she's, you know, very upset. And she's just like, you don't understand. An apartment is like a jail cell. And that's funny for a bunch of reasons. A, because I live in an apartment. And also B, because I also operate all the time and I don't get this right. I know, but okay, I don't always get this right. But I operate under the idea that the way that I live has privilege and that other people like don't, you know, like have privilege. Okay. Like, so for instance, I live in an apartment. Like right now, this is an apartment. It's a 1-bedroom apartment. I'm not gonna tell you where, LA, but God bless. I'm not like, "Oh, Manon thinks that this is a jail cell and she's being so mean or whatever," but, like, there are lots of people that live in apartment and, like, majority people, like, live in apartments, so, like, for her to say living in an apartment is a jail cell is wildly out of touch, and it's also wildly out of touch specifically if you have, like, the cognizance that you're on TV and that people will listen to you say that. You know what I'm saying? I just thought that was interesting. Okay, so the house they go through is like fine looking. She really loses her goddamn balls over that bathroom, honey. It's like a tiled bathroom. And yeah, it has a bathtub and maybe like there's the same tile around, but she's just like, it's as if she had never seen a tiled bathroom before. I'm like, come back to LA, honey. They're all in Larchmont. Anyway, God bless. Yeah, he's like, "This is nice." They go over the pricing. It's basically like $400,000 and he, feels some type of way. He thinks that they're just gonna have to get this place, I mean, full out right away because she is like busting a nut over it. Everywhere she goes, she's like, "Oh my God, it's perfect." She's like, "Can you play it cool?" She's like, "I am playing it cool by absolutely telling them how much I love it and I want to move in." And then she like undercuts him. She's like, "Let me just fucking tell you shit. You don't know anything about business. This is how you do business. I'm the person that makes the money around here. You have no friends, no network. You can't even speak France." I'm sorry. I started to laugh because what she's doing is obviously really, really shitty. Like she is just so mean all the time. And he, however, doesn't do himself any favors because he's such a little, so I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic and certainly one that's great on TV. Um, At one point, though, he gets, I mean, like a Saved by the Bell Hail Mary pass from heaven because the realtor is like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, obviously, as I said early on, speaking in English, speaking in French, no problem for me. But let me tell you in plain fucking language, there's asbestos upstairs. You know what I'm saying? And they're just not going to do anything about it. So they don't want to do anything about it. They'll just take money off. And when she hears that, Manon's like, "Great, so it's even cheaper." And Anthony's like, "We can't have asbestos for my baby Ben, not baby Ben and the asbestos." Which I don't want them to have asbestos either. But Anthony was so happy to have it out. Okay, let's move on to Jenny and Sumit. Oh my God. It's one thing, it's funny because it's one thing to like there's a lot of tedious people on this show, except for Greta and Matthew, who we don't have on this episode. But like the tediousness of Manon's like really angry, always like upset, dramatic, yelling, highly reactive, my way or the highway personality is obviously a hard watch. It's obnoxious to watch. It's like, oh my God. It's like, how can you be doing this again? Right? It's almost cringy. But then the other side of that is like this scene with Jenny. So obviously, as we know, in the family cafe, they make curries and they have these like fun, like potato pockets, like not like, just potato pockets. But the claim to fame, the star of the show, besides the chai, is an espresso maker. I mean, is an espresso machine. Like an espresso machine that is, probably 2,000 maybe, something like that. I mean, I'm assuming maybe it's 1,000 if it's like used or something like that, but it's a very nice like restaurant quality one where it has the beans, you grind them, you have that little espresso thing, you have to pack the grinded beans into that and then you push the lever down and then you take that thing over to the other machine, then you lock it in and then you push a button for the water to come out, you put a cup underneath. It's, I know how to work that machine. And you have to steam the milk. They have like the frother. I used that machine for years working at Real Food Daily, which was the organic vegan restaurant I worked for at years. It's no longer, I don't know if that one, I don't think it exists anymore. But obviously I talk about it, because low key, that's how I got a mild amount of internet fame by having Ellen yell at me, and I bring it up as much as I can. Because at the end of the day, I got her fired from her job too. Okay, God bless. So anyway, having said that, I know how to use that machine. It's not that it's hard, it's that there are steps. There are steps. It's not like just a push a button because you have to like use the right equipment. Now, you have to kind of get in the frame of how to do it. Like usually you have gotten a training situation. Now, Jenny got one training situation with Shri, but it really wasn't like one where there were actual customers. And Shri just showed her how to do it. But I don't remember her being like, okay, now it's your turn from the beginning, from grind the beans, let's do it all. Like, and it's one thing to have someone watch you do it, but it's quite fucking another to be like, okay, now you do it as if I'm not here. And yeah, like this nice man comes up and he tries to get a latte, honey, and Jenny's like, "Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, let me just get I don't know where anything is." I mean, she just is like slowly trying to find a carafe and then slowly, realizing that she can't get the beans to come out and then having to bring someone over and then the customer is like, "All right, bitch, well, step 1, why don't you fucking plug it in?" She's like, "Oh." And this came on hot on the heels of Jenny being like, "I can't believe he gave all that free food away." Jenny, this is what it is, and this is what's so confusing because the internet streets have like full discourses in Reddit about this, and I need opinions. Some people are like, Jenny should be able to do whatever she wants to do. Jenny is like, like doesn't need to work, and Jenny just wants, to like live her retirement in peace and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, but she moved to like a very obligatory family kind of culture, and she's married to someone who is from a family where he has shown her left and right he is going to choose like his family. And then on top of that, she decided to live in India with him. And then on top of that, she decided to move in with his family. And then when he was like, "Can we all make a cafe together?" She wasn't like, "No, I don't want to be a part of it." She was like, "Yes." So at this point, she needs to be doing some things. And I'm not saying she should have to, but she promised that she would by all the behaviors I just said. And by promising she would, she has to deliver. Now, I don't think she can for lots of reasons. Okay. And it has to be talked about. Like she is not going to be able to suddenly get good and fast at that. Her mind's not going to get faster and her body's not going to get faster. And that shit's like looking through like molasses. I wouldn't pay to have Jenny make me coffee. I'm so sorry. It's not for her. And it's not that older people can't do things, but Jenny can't do that. I 100% believe that lots of older people can make coffee in that espresso machine and do it real fast. And maybe she can get better, but I don't see the will or the drive to. And I certainly haven't seen her like ingratiate herself into other things that were like new or foreign to her by like taking a huge leap and like trying and then being consistent and like doing it until she got better at it. Like, I don't know, Indian cooking. Yay! I feel like, yeah, like the thing is, I do know how to use that espresso machine. And so low key, I do kind of feel like, should I make a video? But I don't own, I mean, God bless, I know how to use one, but I don't have one at home. I have an espresso maker. I just use pods. Actually, though, truthfully, I hate to say this because I think it's so LA and or just of a certain generation. And I don't want to be like one of those girls, but I had to stop drinking as much caffeine. Well, I'll take it back. I had to stop drinking as much coffee. And so now I'm like a low key matcha girl. I have been like scooping matcha powder in the morning, like making it a paste with one of those like wicks, one of those like wiry broom whisks, broom whisks. That's very, traditional, and like then adding milk and honey, and it's really good. The second honey was for you guys. The first honey was one of the ingredients in that formula. But I've become like a matcha girl, and I think it's helping my like anxiety levels, and it's interesting. But anyway, um, I'll tell you who needs some coffee. Jenny. Jenny should be taking some shots of espresso and then going through that manual, honey, and then she has to have like 2 shots, and then she needs 5 runs, like rehearsal runs of like make a latte, make an espresso, make an Americano, make a cappuccino. Those are the 4 basic. And there obviously are differences. Espresso is just the shot with minimal amounts of water, only the amount of water to push through. The Americano is that shot plus like the amount of water that would make it a cup if you added more water. So it looks like a cup of coffee. A latte is a shot of espresso or 2 with steamed milk, and then maybe a little foam on top, maybe, God bless. And a cappuccino is the espresso. There's literally supposed to be no like actual liquid milk, but sometimes they give you a little bit, and it should be almost all foam. Anyway, Jenny, that was for Jenny. So the family's pissed now because they realize that Jenny is like, a dead weight, and they've been thinking that, and that was the reason why they didn't want him to marry her. And now they have like full on evidence of it, which is not a good look for Jenny. Let's move on to Chloe and Johnny, honey. Okay, this is hmm. This is an interesting, but like what felt like manufactured sort of scene. It's one scene, and it's like the aftermath of Chloe and her mom going car shopping after Johnny was like, "Yeah, you can get a car here for like $3,000." And then being like, "Okay, Johnny, just so you know, the number you said was absolutely wrong. When we went to the car dealership, they laughed at us. You actually can't get that there, except if you get it off the internet from someone who we don't know, who we wouldn't trust. That's not the way we do things here. So we don't trust you now to do things the way we would do things comfortably." And I think that part was a little what Chloe's mom was saying. Chloe's having a whole goddamn anxiety attack. No, she's having an identity crisis a little bit with her mom because she wants her mom to think of her as being like a totally hip, cool, smart girl who can like run her life, and she like knows what she's talking about. And Chloe's mom is like, you're young as fuck. You look like a little baby. Just because you talk fast doesn't mean you know shit about shit. You are so dumb and you don't know it. Like, that is like what is annoying sometimes. Sometimes parents, my dad will look at me or like still, and I hate it so much, treat me like I'm dumb and that I don't know it. Like that I'm so ignorant that I know what I'm talking about. I'm like, I do, it's you. Anyway, Chloe's like, I don't understand what the problem is, mom. We're just gonna work it out. Like, all I have to do is get a job. So we'll just like go for the permits. And she's like, okay, do you know how to get a job here? She's like, yeah, I have to get a license to get a job, like a permit. And, I have to obviously keep up the license payment of like $600. And mom's like, you have to pay $600? What? She's like, well, like what? Every like once a month or 3 months, something like that. She's like, you have to pay $600? That's so much money. You can't even make that much. That's like half your paycheck for this fucking license. What? And she's like, well, mom, don't even worry about it. I'll figure it out. And then she's like, what do you figure out? It's an impossible problem. I'll tell you how to figure it out. I feel like Chloe's mom is just like, I gotta fucking save my daughter. Because the other thing about Chloe's mom is she's trying to get her daughter to come back by being like, I'm not gonna fucking pay for shit. And Johnny hears that and he's like, oh fuck, Chloe wants her mom to pay for shit. Even Johnny's like, Chloe talks a big ass game, but Chloe's not known pain. Chloe's not known struggle. And I'm gonna tell you right now, either have I. So I get it. Not to the, I mean, I've known more struggle than Chloe. Okay, obviously, I'm an older person. But Chloe's had a safety net. And so I understand, like Chloe, I think, not knowing what happens if she just is like, I don't need anybody. I haven't been needing anybody. When it's like, well, you haven't known that because you've never known yourself to not need. You've been needing the whole time. You'd have to like see yourself not need before being so confident about your ability to not need. Well, anyway, you know what I mean? Okay, so I also clocked the red wine that both her and her mom were drinking. And didn't that look good? I love red wine. He was drinking something different. I just thought it was indicative of like, yeah, this mom and daughter are on the same goddamn page, working together, blonde hair, little mini me. There was no way that she was going to let Chloe just like live here forever. So basically, at the end of this fight, she's like, all right, well, let me just fucking, let's be honest. I said that I'm not going to foot the bill for you to live here. And what I didn't say is that I will actually pay not just for you, Chloe, but I will pay you, Johnny. I'll pay for both of you. I'll buy both of you right now if you just move back to Boston. It was like one of those like weird, like, like, I don't know, like mafia-esque moments. She was like, I'm just going to like, yeah, I'm going to own you. I'll give you jobs. I'll give you careers. I'll give you stability. Oh, God. Chloe's mom is such a baller. I'm happy for Chloe. I think Chloe's, like confidence comes from the fact that her mom has just like been able to like really provide for Chloe in a way that Chloe got to feel all of her power. And I don't think that Chloe knows what it's like to not feel power, because on top of her mom having like a lot of money for her to do whatever the fuck she wanted, Chloe also had like privileges of like, the way she looks and being, you know, young, and she's like a fit girl. Like Chloe had a very easy life. So it's interesting that she gets like kind of like whatever in a little pretzel with Johnny, who is not her end goal. Like there's just not a way in which these two actually make it. I really can't imagine it. And I don't think that you can either, but I really need your thoughts. Yeah, I want to know more. And obviously that's where we end, is like doing what are you going to do for them? Are you going to buy him a pirate ship? Is he going to be in a pirate ship in Boston? What he could do is like reenact the Boston Tea Party on a ship in Boston. And so, instead of like girls on his neck being drunk, going up, the plank. No, it could be him drinking tea and throwing the tea overboard. So I don't know. I'm so interested, though. That was the end of the episode. Thank you guys so much for being here. I want to hear what your thoughts are. Obviously, though, we are going to go on and finish all of Sister Wives tonight, and then we're going to talk about Secret Lives of Mormon Wives later, like tomorrow. So that's on the docket. Obviously, also you have to follow me. I'm at Chris L. Farah on Instagram and TikTok, and I'm actually having a lot of fun on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, please, I have no subscribers. Also, Substack, no subscribers. I have no subscribers anywhere, truly. So at Chris L. Farah, Instagram and TikTok, obviously Substack, like I just said. I have a Facebook group, Vanity Farah, on Facebook, and Chris Farah is also a page on Facebook. Go and like that. Enjoy all of that. By enjoy that, I mean let me enjoy your following. You're tickling my algorithm. Thank you so much. Obviously on YouTube is where I also broadcast, so you can be a part of this channel here and like and subscribe and comment after the video goes up. It's all part of the game. Buying her daughter a boyfriend. Well, just, yeah, I wonder, it's like, I wonder if her thing is like, yeah, Chloe will come back and then she'll get sick of Johnny. And if you had told Johnny to move to Boston to pay for their life, like what happens with Johnny if Chloe breaks up with him? Do you just send him back, ship him back to the pirate ship in Aruba? Tour bus operator. Ah. I love all your friends here so much. So many fun friends, and obviously a lot of like old school people, that's like making me want to cry. So thank you so much for being here. It makes me like tear up. But on the inside, though I am tearing up on the outside, I've already mentioned that, perimenopause. But yeah, my loves, I'm going to get off here and start a brand new room and then talk about Sister Wives, which I'm really excited about to talk about, because nothing happened and everything happened. Which I don't know, it just makes me happy. I hope you guys have been watching that, so we can, all 16 of us, hang out together when I start this new room in another minute or two. Other than that, yeah, I hope you're having a great week. I hope that you're having some time to take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I'm going to start this new room, and then we're all going to hang out again for the next hour. All right, my loves. But if you're watching this, thank you so much for spending this hour with me. Please comment after it's gone up, and I'll comment back. Take care of yourselves and one another. Stand up for what you believe and make art. All right. Mwah. Bye.